It's interesting to see because I followed the previous Doctor Who situation a lot through living it through our man's Gary Neurotic.
Oh yeah.
Got a lot of great content out of that. I don't know. I tend to analyze a lot of things economically more than I have probably like ever in my life. I've been an economic kind of analytical guy, but I think definitely after the launch of the Rippaverse, like that's especially the lens that I look at something. So I'm always impressed when I see an example like this, where it's like you do something and it doesn't work, and then you do it again times two. Isn't just that's fascinating to me because I don't know what specifically you're looking at that incentivizes you to do that. Other than accolades, maybe and pats on the back, and your typical circle jerk shit.
I will offer you some more information that may allow you to formulate a slightly different opinion.
Okay.
BBC is funded by the British public.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to find its own money. There's no advertising on the BBC because here in the UK we have the TV license.
You're getting stolen from to pay for it.
Yes. So the BBC steals 150, 60 pounds a year off the British public to make programming to serve their own ideology.
So yeah, from that perspective, you don't have any economic incentive.
No.
At all, actually. Because, I mean, that's the dangers of government. I mean, we talk about this all the time out here, and that, the difference between a business, private institution versus the government is that the government can utterly fail, but they have this guaranteed line of money that they get through. Maybe it's by printing money, most of it through taxing, right? By stealing from people involuntarily.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas to, let's say, something like Riververse, I have to earn people's dollar, right? I have to put something up that people are willing to buy, and I have to keep delivering on that if I expect to see money. Whereas in this case, they don't have to do that at all. It's like, well, we're gonna get the money anyway. I guess they're like, why not fucking utilize this? It's almost like a double dip. We're gonna steal from the people, and then we're also gonna lecture them or use this property, let's say, to do that. That's fascinating. From even that perspective, that makes it make sense. It almost you get a lot of clarity as to why this would happen like that in that order. And well, you laid an egg before with a few seasons of that, and now you're going this route, and it seems as if you're like tripling down, essentially doubling and tripling down, and it may get worse. Again, I don't know. It's easy for me to say this now, but I don't know. In retrospect, after all this happens, maybe that's the conversation that we'll be having. We'll be like, well, the female Doctor Who wasn't shit compared to whatever the hell we're going to be getting going into the future, which is why I said it could. We may have not even got started. It may get like really good here in the future. But that's such a fascinating thing. It does feel calculated and coordinated when you look at every single thing that seemed to matter to a large number of people, especially in these fictional universes, is getting chipped away at, right? One by one, right? We move from what came first. You can make the argument. Obviously, I was more privy to the comic book side of things, right? And seeing what they did to a lot of these Marvel characters, especially during all new, all different era, made no fucking sense to me. But they did it anyway. We saw what happened to Iceman. Like that was what I was talking about this yesterday. That was like a big I think that the Iceman thing may have been the first one where everybody was like, what the fuck? Because that was like 2015, right? So everybody was like kind of like, what the fuck is what are they doing? Like, that doesn't really make fucking sense. Like, yeah, it looks bad as well. Jean Grey kind of just turns them gay. But what the fuck? And then it just, 2016 happened. I don't know. Something happened during that year that kind of sent people, made people crazy. Not quite sure what that was in 2016.
Racking my brain, but I
yeah,
can't.
no idea what happened then that really accelerated a lot of stuff and made people crazy. But I think what it especially did was it had these people throughout Hollywood and entertainment felt as if they needed to use that entertainment to beat their audience over the head with whatever social or political views it is that they had. So they're just making their way. And I think I made this point before. is that if they have not gotten to your property, they'll get there.
Oh
Right.
yes,
It's just only a matter of time at this point.
it's a virus. It infects. It moves on. Finds a new host.
Exactly. So it just gets, jumps from thing to thing. If they're like every other conversation we have in Star Wars here, Star Trek, right? Marvel, DC, talking about Doctor Who,
Dungeons and Dragons,
Dungeons,
TVA. Blah, blah, blah.
but yeah, we're just going on and on with these these properties that have been around for a very, very long time, right? Forever, and we're seeing the direction that they're going in. They've been controlled. They are being controlled by ideologues. So I guess my question is like, do you put Russell T Davies in like the Filoni category?
No, Russell T Davies has actually got some talent.
Okay.
What he did to bring New Who back and just the casting and the writing and the direction, it was good fun. There was a really good show there, really fun show. Not every episode's great, and he had written a couple of absolute stinkers, but he'd written a lot of really good fun stuff, and it was good stuff that had a lot of heart, a lot of character, a lot of soul, and Russell T Davies is a gay man, and everyone knew that. It's not a secret. He had already produced TV for the UK way before then. One of his big shows was called Queer as Folk.
Yeah, Queer as Folk.
Yeah. So no one ever had an issue with that. No one had an issue with the gay character in the show or the pansexual character in the show, Captain Jack Harkness, because that was just a part of who he was. He wasn't defined by his pansexuality. He was defined by character, who he was as a person. Started off as a morally dubious character, and then through hanging out with the Doctor and doing the things that the Doctor did, actually became a hero, and died because of it, and then was brought back due to it, and then he couldn't die because of how he was brought back. It was a very interesting thing. But Captain Jack Harkness, he would fuck anything in the universe. He didn't care what species you were, what gender you were. That was just Jack. And that was, so nobody cared because he was a really cool, fun character. And John Barrowman, who played him, again, very handsome guy, a lot of charisma, a lot of personality, good actor. So there was just everything there for people to gravitate towards. During the mid 2010s, it's funny how that seems to be
it seems to be like
a nexus point,
right? Where everything went to shit. Yes, or at least we started to.
I think his partner died.
Okay.
His partner, and he really started to embrace transgenderism as a thing, and he would do a lot of kind of like talks about how it was so important, the visibility of it, yada yada yada. So it just appears that ideology has overwhelmed his desire to just tell fun stories. Okay. This last episode just gone, it was just, all of it was just trans everything. And I don't even believe that 99% of the people that say they're trans are trans. I think they're just a lot of people looking for attention on the internet. And this is a way to do it. And if you have to sort of do a few things along the way to show it off or expedite it, they don't care. But I think to be perfectly honest with you, everything that's been going on over the course of the last 6 or 7 or so years has been unbelievably detrimental to legitimate trans people. They've been literally overtaken and abused and used as a vessel to virtue signal, to leech off the narcissists. And I've worked in a job before where I had a decent amount of contact with trans people, legit trans people who believed that they weren't in their right body. And I had a hell of a lot of sympathy for these people that I was dealing with, because it was clearly a mental condition that they have. None of them were under the impression that they were the gender that they were. You know, they just believed that they identified and wanted to live their life in that way. And you know, that is kind of courageous that they would have the wherewithal to try and do that. And so to see what we see now on social media, where it's just like stick a couple of flags in your bio and then say, I woke up this morning and I didn't feel the need for sex, so I guess I'm asexual, hashtag pride, hashtag flag. And it's just like, you've done more to probably hurt tolerance, progression, anything of this nature. You're just making people with your constant demands, with your we deserve respect. Well, you don't. Respect is earned. It's not given. You have, every individual has to earn their own respect. There could be 10 people at the Rippaverse. That's 10 people that need to earn people's respect.
Yeah.
It's not just because one person has respect, the others by default get respect. There might be people there that will be civil or give, the benefit, but unless those people prove themselves to you, then you'll see them for who they are.
Right.
And with all this is going on, I think you're just breeding into people intolerance, because people are just getting sick and tired of it. So you're causing more division, fracturing people further.
Mm-hmm. And
let's just be honest, that's probably the goal. The legit goal in this is keep the people divided, keep them arguing, keep them their minds off of what's actually going on, and keep them busy with these fucking ridiculous platforms that just eat your life and waste your life away.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I don't know. It's really interesting. It's like these fucking people. I guess what makes me, what I find bizarre, let's call it that, is the gaslighting of it all, and where we all can see, especially through that nexus point that you mentioned in 2010s, where shit just got weird.
Oh yeah.
The part that I find to be hilarious is how people will gaslight others and say that we will highlight this, let's say as an example, whether it be in a video or whatever, we're talking about it, we're doing a show, and these people act as if we just made the shit up, as if it's not happening. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's how it starts, is it not? It's, well, it was never happening, and then it's, well, now it is happening. They can't deny it's happening, and it's good that it is happening, right? It's whatever's advantageous to them in the conversation it is that they are having. So you have people that will gaslight the audience and suggest that, well, you found a problem with what's going down. You see it. You're like, this isn't Doctor Who. This isn't this character. This isn't that character. Whatever. This is not what this whole show is about, a movie about, a character about, comic book, whatever it may be. And then the people that are now in control of it will say, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It was always like this, or something of that, some crazy shit like that. And that's been what always gets me about it all, because it's a spit in the face to so many. Because you look at something like Doctor Who. You don't get to the position that you're in without fucking decades upon decades of resonating with audiences, people that have literally grown up on this shit, right? Like,
everybody.
Yes, so that's how stuff becomes almost a fabric of Western like culture, like it transcends, right? Like we see this with like comic book characters, like Superman and Batman transcend comics, right? Like they're part of like Western culture, to where a person can have never read a comic book, they know who Batman is, right? They know who Superman is, and what have you. So you're telling all these people that took in all this information, they've passed it on to their children, and then you come out with something that's just new iteration of it, and then you say, well, all that shit that you guys that you knew and loved, either A, doesn't matter, or B, it was a problem with it. And I think you're seeing some of that with like, again, changing a character from being, let's say, handicapped, if you will, to no longer being that, because they feel as if, I don't know, disabled people bad, you know, the fuck, whatever their reasoning behind it is. It's nonsensical. But again, think about what it is that they're telling you there. They're basically telling you that all that shit that you had grew up on, or all the shit that you've taken in, you maybe spent all this money on, or in BBC's case, you were stolen money from. So you get every right to fucking complain about this type of stuff. None of that matters, because it's ours now. We took it, it's ours, and whatever ideology in politics and social political views, whatever it may be, that's the hotlight, right? And we're gonna use this thing that you like and love as a vehicle, but they're gaslighting the entire fucking audience and acting as if you are a problem. And this is why I'm so fucking bullish on creating, because I just don't think these people got it in them to adjust. And they've shown that. And I guess that's what people needed to see. And that is that even when it becomes something that even normies are like, okay, something is fucking weird, will they keep going? And what we're seeing is, yes, they will. They will.
To a point, to a degree.
Yeah. But they're saying that you're weighing doing something that we got a story we'll talk about with Disney here in a little bit. Doing something that people actually want, will pay for, or into, versus being able to use something as a vehicle to make a political or social statement. These people have decided that latter is far more important than that former. So when pressed to do one or the other, they will for sure take the road of, well, this is an opportunity to lecture. So that's what we're going to do. Well, this is an opportunity this is something that people recognize, people understand, people know. And what better way to get them to believe some bullshit it is that I want them to believe or uphold, whatever that may be. What better way to do that than to use something as a platform that often these people did not create? They did not put the work in to fucking build it up. They're just standing on it as a platform with a microphone and a podium to lecture the audience about. And because people have shown in the past that they are willing to give it the time of day, it's like ripe for it. Because if it didn't have Doctor Who attached to it, who the fuck's watching this shit?
Exactly.
Who's even bothering to give this shit the time of day? Almost nobody. Alpha Core #1's pre-order is live. Written by the legendary Chuck Dixon and penciled by Joe Bennett. Visit Rippaverse.com to grab a copy and any of the merchandise items. Be sure to also check out the animated trailer for the campaign, which is the latest project from Rippaverse Studios. Y'all be easy.